Gentleman yields. I now recognize Mr. Suozzi, the gentleman from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me first start by welcoming my colleague, Senator Tim Kennedy, now Congressman Kennedy, to Washington. He's a great public servant. He's done a fantastic job in New York State, and I know he'll do a fantastic job here in the United States Congress, and he's going to make a lot of friends here because of the seriousness with which he takes his job. I want to thank all the witnesses for being here today. We really appreciate the time that you've taken to help to educate us. I know you listen to a lot of this stuff back and forth and you wonder what makes sense because people are just trying to score political points on both sides of this. And we've got to start working together more to try and solve the problems we face in our country. And we've really got to all support law enforcement. I was the mayor of a small city, my hometown of Glen Cove, and I was the county executive of Nassau County where I oversaw the 11th largest police force in the United States of America, where we reduced the crime rate to the lowest of any community in the nation, over 500,000 people. And I know what an important job you do. I know the challenges you're facing right now because of all the attacks that have been made on law enforcement over the years. It's not fair, it's not right. There are people trying to do their jobs. One of the dumbest statements that's ever been created anywhere in our country that is misused so often is this defund the police idea. It's an awful, terrible idea. If anything, I think that most people in the United States Congress agree upon is we need to figure out how to get more money to law enforcement. And I think that there are extremists on both sides. Some people that want to defund the police, other people want to defund the FBI, people want to cut the cops program. We need to get more money for law enforcement. And I think most people on both sides of the aisle believe in that. Do we need to fund the police? Yes. Is mental health a problem? Mr. Bryan, I think was just saying, I've read statistics over the year, 75% of the people in jail have a drug, alcohol, or mental health problem. 75% of the people in jail have a drug, alcohol, or mental health problem. And those are problems we need to address earlier in life before everything blows up into a crisis. We need to go after bad actors. Are there bad actors in the police department? Yeah, there are. But the large, overwhelming majority of law enforcement officials are good people trying to do the right thing to make the world a better place to live in, and our society would not exist without the good work of law enforcement. So in thanking you, I'm thanking everybody you represent in law enforcement. So what can we do at the federal government? One size is not going to fit all. You got these little small communities, you got these big communities, you got border communities, non-border communities. You've got places with heavy drugs where they want to carry, like Mr. Jimenez was saying earlier, AR-15s and body armor, and you've got little small towns as well. One of the great things that happened when I was the mayor of Glen Cove was the COPS program that President Clinton did. They wanted to put 100,000 more cops on the streets, and we could get a grant to bring more cops into our local little police department. It was a fantastic program. I want to know, would you support the idea of funding for grants to hire more officers or buy equipment or do whatever you think is right for your department? Would you like to see the federal government provide more money for law enforcement? I'll just ask you all quickly. Mr. Mays, would you like to see more money from the federal government for law enforcement?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Mr. Chapman?
Of course.
Mr. Bullock?
Absolutely.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes.
We all agree. Everybody agrees. We need more money from the federal government for law enforcement. Now, one of the things, I can't talk about all the things, but one of the things we can do at the federal level, in addition to providing funding, is to try and address laws that would fill holes that exist in some communities. Mr. Mays, I was very interested to listen to you earlier. It sounded like you support red flag laws, the idea of a police officer or a family member or somebody being able to go before a law enforcement official like a judge and say, listen, this person should really not have a gun. We need to take this gun away from that person. Go through due process, go through a procedure, but have professionals testify and take guns away from people that shouldn't really have guns. Do you believe in red flag laws?
I don't use the term red flag laws because it's loaded language that gets people all upset, but extreme risk protection orders,
Yeah.
The ability to take a weapon with due process available.
With due
from
process.
Someone who is mentally ill or unstable or we believe has capability and intent. The governor of Tennessee proposed something like that. It didn't go, but so I would answer yes, but with different words.
Yeah, and the words you use are say it again?
Extreme risk protection orders.
So I know you have extreme risk protection orders type of laws in Virginia already, Mr. Chapman, so I'm not going to ask you, but I want to ask Mr. Bullock. You don't have those in Texas. Do you think we should have that as a nationwide basis?
I believe there's value in providing additional layers of protection. In Texas, one of the situations that was mentioned, if we do place someone on an emergency commitment due to mental health, we have the ability to seize the firearm, but it's temporary. It only lasts for maybe a week, depending upon a variety of different circumstances. But the ability to make sure that individuals we know are at risk don't have access to weapons, I think is valuable.
It'd be great if we had extreme risk protection laws nationwide, I believe. I just wanted to try and get some support from the different witnesses here today. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, yield.